Hey guys, it's Holly here, and you are watching episode 7 of The Return of the Reverse. So it is just me this week. Lane, I have no idea where the man is. He's probably busy doing something. So first and foremost, last weekend, and I didn't get a chance to talk about it, I think in last week's update, but I actually had the opportunity to head down to Fort Lauderdale. So that's a beautiful little beach town on the east coast of Florida for the Ride Aware meet and greet. So I got to catch up with all of the female affiliates that kind of work with all of the clothing and it was really, really fun. So I got to do a bit of a takeover and help launch their new Wild Child range. I'm actually wearing their shorts right now, but they've got some really great colors and just their stuff is awesome. It's just monthly releases, all these new products. So yeah, flew in, flew out on the same day. So that was a bit of a hectic one. Later this week, I got to head down to Orlando to meet NutriKeys. So I had a chat with the owners and really just got to learn a little bit more about the products. It's been quite a few years that I have actually worked with anyone in the supplement industry, partly because I haven't really been a strong user of supplements. I'm someone that really chooses to eat my nutrition and I really prioritize my health and make sure that I'm getting all of my micronutrients and things from my diet. But as you start to kind of move into a contest prep, it becomes more and more difficult to hit your micronutrient targets, and when your calories are limited, it's nice to have a supplemental form of leucine as well. And NutriKey do a really great job at providing single ingredient products. There's no proprietary blend, so you actually get to see the formulated dose of whatever the ingredient is that you're trying to consume. So that's one of the big reasons why I have started to work with NutriKey, and they have some really awesome flavored products of protein, and I get a bit of flavor fatigue, so they were super nice and have given me one of all of their ranges. So if you guys haven't checked out NutriKey, I have been doing a bit of work with them. So I got to do a big tour. We've got some cool YouTube videos coming out that I can share with you coming in the next week or so. So stay tuned for that. Looking at my training and nutrition, it was kind of a bit of a challenge to get everything in the last week, just with all of the travel. Obviously you're getting up really early, 2.5 hours I think it took me to get down to Orlando. So I have to be quite strategic with when I plan my training, and also just, not training at the very end of the day and then having to wake up first thing in the morning and train back to back. You're not really allowing a full recovery. So I've had to be smart with my timing. And that being said, I think the fatigue kind of just got to me by the end of the week. We had the kids this weekend and I was absolutely exhausted. So I actually had to miss a scheduled training session, which hasn't happened in a long time. So I missed not only a weight session, but a cardio session this week too. And it probably gives rise to why my weight has started to creep up just a little bit, because I haven't made it a priority to get those sessions in. Instead, like Sunday, for instance, we took the boat out because we hadn't really had much time to spend with the kids. So we did that. And then Lane, he's preparing for his nationals coming out really soon for powerlifting. And he had to cram in some training. So I had the kids in the morning, and then I had to go and do groceries and do some meal prep, and then I just time got away, couldn't get my session in. So yeah, it's been a lot of work trying to fit everything in, and we have all these, you know, business goals, I guess, that we're kind of trying to bash out of the way. But the other thing I wanted to really quickly touch on before we have a look at my data for the week is IBS. That has been an ongoing struggle for me in the show prep and coming out of the prep. I think just with the amount of calorie restriction and general food restriction, I'm going to say general food restriction, particularly when you come to the end of a diet, because you don't have the flexibility to eat everything. I think that has certainly exacerbated some of my symptoms, and yeah, I'm just having a really hard time with finding a good balance of foods that are not problematic. We went out for dinner on Saturday night to see one of our friends, Brian Callan, at the comedy show here in Tampa, and we took some friends with us. Chino and Nina came, and we went to the Columbia, which I believe, Chino, is a Spanish restaurant. Yeah. You guys love your garlic, let me tell you. I loved it too, until I started walking back to the car and looked like I had a 6-month-old baby. And it proceeded to stay with me all of Saturday. And I was catatonic on Saturday. We went up the boat and I was just like, I'm just in constant amount of pain. It didn't really go away for the whole weekend. So, yeah, for people that are struggling with IBS, it's frustrating because your triggers can change, and that's largely due to the gut microflora, and what you're kind of eating dictates the type of bacterial growth that's occurring in your colon. So, you know, when you're constantly changing your nutrition and your calories and your food choices, it kind of starts to really take over. And yeah, I'm just at a really frustrating place at the moment. And I was chatting with Lane before, and there are a couple of studies that kind of look at the pain perception, and there are a few different methods that we can test, I guess, how sensitive you are to things. We were joking around before about some of the methods that you can do, which involve, like, basically you put a balloon up your butt and it can send signals, or someone with IBS, it will send signals to certain parts of your brain which will light up, and that's essentially how they can determine, you know, if somebody has a sensitive gut or not. Someone that doesn't probably won't register as any pain, but for someone with IBS, you would have certain areas of the brain light up. So it's really frustrating to deal with, and I'm almost at the point where I'll probably be looking into some products, and maybe from a placebo effect alone, maybe I'll have some relief. So if you guys have heard of any products that help with IBS, I'll go and try it, and the placebo effect may work. So who knows? I think we probably should go and have a look at my data, and I'm going to tell you what I am getting up to with my macros this week, and if there's going to be any changes to my training. So let's do it. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you'd like to learn more about this, why don't you check out our books online at the BioLane store. Links are in the description below. All right, that's enough of that. Back to the video. Okay, so it's been a little while since we've had a look at any of my information. And unfortunately, that probably reflects in the increase in my weight. I have just lost a lot of those really good behaviors. Some of them are within my control. Some of them have been out of my control. And I have chosen to, I don't know, just act negatively about it, I guess. I always say everything's a choice. So if I want to make something happen, it's up to me to do it. And I've just chosen to probably grumble and, you know, complain about it rather than just do what's necessary to be compliant at my macros. So I've really only got myself to blame for this. But there's been a lot of things happening, you know, personally, in our business life that have made it more challenging than I would have liked. But nonetheless, you can see here for the last 7 days I was tracking pretty meticulously. Previous weeks I had a few days where I think I'd lost data here, and I just kind of threw my arms up in the air and I was like, I'm just done. Like, I just stopped weighing myself, and I was just generally very low mood and low motivation to train. And that's quite normal after a contest prep, I think. They call it the contest blues for a reason, but I think I should have been motivated because I knew that I had a competition coming up, but part of me was in two minds about, doing the show in December. And I'll talk about that and why I had maybe a second opinion to not do it in a second. But so, yeah, I've only got my weight taken twice this week. It is up a little bit from previous weeks. If we go back to my main data spreadsheet, you can see I was consistently sitting at about the 62s. I was having some problems with my tracker and some of the information. I think there was a reset, and the program that I was using was an Australian app. Lost a lot of the recipes and things and the products that I use all the time, and it kind of sent me in a bit of a downward spiral. And you can see I've kind of gone from 62 to 65 in a couple of weeks, which isn't ideal because I had planned to start this diet phase here for the next show in December, dead on 64, and that was like my capita. I was like, if I go over that, it's going to make for a very, very difficult diet based on the weekly rate of loss. So I'm really hoping that this week I'll start to take my weight probably from Thursday, because I did exceed my targets on Sunday by about 300 calories. So I know that my weight's going to be high. I need a few days back being consistent before it will start to trend back down. So I'm going to take my weight here on Thursday. And then by next week, when I get to do my update again, my intention is to be back at 64. I'm pretty adamant about it. We don't have any travel planned this week. There's no likeliness that I'm not going to get my training sessions in. I know last week I had 2 flights and 2 big trips that I had to do. I was training like at 9 o'clock in the evening or at different locations. My sessions were terrible because I was really slow. I couldn't find some of the equipment that I needed. So there was just a lot of just general disruption. So I'm not changing my targets this week. You can see here I'm sticking to 1835. I would have liked to have increased those a little bit more, but I could if I wanted to, but I also want to see where I'm at metabolically. What is my true maintenance calorie intake right now based on the amount of activity I'm doing. So it's not an ideal position to be in going into the diet phase for the next competition. I had hoped to probably be around the 2,000, 2,100 mark by now. Coming into week 8, so we'll have to see. I think if my weight stays too high, I probably would have to really consider whether I want to do this show, because it's going to mean for a fairly aggressive diet phase again, and it was already very hard last time. So this week I've kind of set out to make sure that it's happening. This is my priority this week. So yeah, that's where we're at. I'm still doing about 80 minutes on the Stairmaster, or 80 minutes of high intensity interval training. I'm doing about 60 minutes of walking. That's just a warm up before I do all my weight sessions. And I have increased my training volume on my lower body to 4 sessions per week. So there's been a lot of DOMs going on lately. So hopefully that settles down a bit this week. So that's all from me, guys. Wish me luck. Hopefully I'll have a more consistent week this week and I don't exceed my targets. If you are wanting some more information about setting up a diet, how to do so successfully without jeopardizing your resting metabolic rate or losing lean body mass, you can find all of that information in the Complete Contest Prep Guide, as well as Fat Loss Forever. And if you are stuck on food ideas, I have quite a few books now, I think 3. Coming up to the Christmas period, we do have a Christmas one too. But the staples are the Complete Contest Prep Recipe Guide and If It Fits Your Macros. So there's a bunch, I think over 150 macro-friendly recipes available in those books to kind of help support a flexible dieting approach to weight loss. So go and check those out. I think the links to all of the books are in the description below. So that's all from me. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week.